working to pass what's called a gender identity and expression bill to protect transgender people will be our #1 legislative priority, working with the groups who are already working on this issue. Transgender people today can be fired from their job. They can be denied credit at a bank. They can lose their housing and a host of other things simply because of who they are. And what the Gender Identity Expression Bill will do is add that term, gender identity, to our state's anti-discrimination laws. It will do the same thing that the Gay Rights Bill did when it passed in 1991. I think it's an issue of basic fairness, and I hope it will pass in 2009.
I think this is one more issue. It's where there is a tremendous need for people to become educated about this whole issue of transgendered identity. It's not like we were labeled that, you know, being homosexual was a lifestyle choice. And for people who are transgender, this is not a choice. It's a, you know, it's a reality. It's part of the natural process for them to want to be at home in their own skin.
That's right, and I think that what you are seeing is the transgender community becoming more out, more vocal, just as the gay, lesbian, bisexual community has done over the past, 15, 20 years in Connecticut. And they have a wonderful organization, the Connecticut Trans Advocacy Coalition,
yes.
And other groups like Connecticut Women's Education and Legal Fund, Planned Parenthood. There are a lot of groups at the table who recognize this as yet another civil rights issue
yes.
that needs to be dealt with.
Very definitely. What do you suppose happened with Proposition 8? I'm going back to the California thing. Here, to me, so many things that were new and wonderful happened in California, and then it would take about 3 or 4 years for it to go cross country, and then finally people would pick it up here on this side of the world, and they say, oh, this is so wonderful. Yeah, but California's been doing this for a decade, and here now we had, I don't know if I'm right, but I would say there's probably more homosexual people who live in California than any other state.
That's right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but they're out anyways. And do you think it was a naive thing on the part of those people to think that it would never happen? That the gay community did not support or work against this, or
I don't know all the background and why it happened and sort of the details of the campaign. I mean, there's a lot of sort of day after analysis that's going on. I think that what's most important is that you cannot put the rights of a minority up to a vote by the majority. And you talk about California being a leader. California was the first state back in 1948 to have a court case that ended the ban on interracial marriage. It took until 1967 for the U.S. Supreme Court to get rid of those existing bans. So California has been a leader, but if that interracial court decision had been put up to a right of the public, they would have reversed that as well. You simply can't do that.
That's what that justice said, that people who already have the right really have no regard for those who don't. I mean, you have no understanding of what it's like to not have a basic right.
Although I want to, if I can interject, we have had such amazing support in Connecticut from our straight allies. And I think that that's another real reason that we have had such success here, is that there are people who can get beyond their own rights and protections and see it as a human rights issue.
Very definitely. And I think the more people, it's the human face too, that needs to be out there too, as you said before, is that the more gay, lesbian people come out, and people who are straight see those faces and see that they're their brothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their grandmothers and grandfathers.
That's right.
You know, I mean, who would have thought that a married person could have been a gay, lesbian person, whatever. So these are the things that come day by day. I think we have a better shot at a DOMA with this president than we have had in the last 8 years. But I think we need to really work hard to try and get that. That seems to be the basic root that we need to strengthen. And you're right. You can't ask the people to vote on something they don't know anything about. And that's why the legislators were informed. So we have a lot of work to do with this. Is there anything you'd like to mention before we close?
I will just say that the success we've had in Connecticut has to do with grassroots action. And people need to get involved and stay involved, both for passing the transgender bill and for repealing the federal DOMA. So I hope people will, go to our website, stay involved with the organization, or get involved if they haven't been before. That's how we make justice happen.
I want to thank you so much for being my guest today. Just know that our church has been one that's been around for the last 10 years, and we have always performed same-sex unions. Now we can do the marriages. We did the civil unions. We will do the sacramental marriage. So, and continue to do that with great, great joy. In the end, I'd like to say I want to thank you for being here again.
My pleasure.
And with this statement that Americans, I believe, will come around to accept the truth that sexual orientation is not a lifestyle choice, but a natural occurrence, and that gay and lesbians and loving marriages are not out to mess up kids' minds. That it will be nothing better than to know for youngsters that they don't have to commit suicide because they believe that they are different than their friends. So please keep your hearts and your minds open to voices in the wilderness. Goodbye.
She has said she won't forsake me. I'm in her hand. She sets a table before me in the presence of my